fact.
I'm never ready.
I don't know why this is listed as one fact. It's literally like 4, but okay. This is Godzilla, I guess Godzilla and King Kong, fact number 96. This is all listed in one. This movie has many firsts. It's the first Godzilla crossover. It's the first time Godzilla and King Kong appear in color. It's the first time King Kong is not in stop motion because he's a guy in a suit.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first King Kong in 29 years, and this is what it says. On top of that, it is the first Godzilla film to be shot in widescreen and to have the comedic tone. That's all listed as 96.
It's like 7 facts.
Yeah. But okay. Those were your Godzilla facts. Hey there, actors, Satanists, naive doctors, and literal sons of Satan.
Welcome to another episode of What Happens in the Crypt.
Today, we are talking about the 1968 Roman Polanski film, Rosemary's Baby.
A brief synopsis. A young couple trying for a baby move into a fancy apartment surrounded by peculiar neighbors.
I actually like that synopsis of it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, that sounds boring.
It shouldn't say Satanist neighbors. That would ruin the whole thing. Or witchy neighbors. Mm-hmm.
You could hear them singing through the wall. Guy, my husband Guy, said it was Dr. Shand, one of these people, playing a recorder. Now, how did he know it was Dr. Shand unless he was there with them? They're very clever people. They planned everything right from the beginning. They probably made some sort of deal with Guy. They gave him success, and he promised them our baby to use in their rituals. I know this sounds crazy, but I've got books here. Look.
Trigger warnings include rape or sexual assault, which is only kind of shown briefly. It's not really on screen. It's like in that whole dream type
the dream sequence
segment. But she also is frequently drugged against her will and eventually
held against her will because she's like
drugged against her will rather.
She's like trapped in a room and they keep drugging her.
They kind of keep her captive. Yeah. So.
This is like a 60s movies, so it's not like...
It's not graphic.
It's not graphic like a modern movie is. But still, be aware.
Taglines for the movie include, it's not what you're expecting.
It's true.
Because like expecting, like an expectant mother.
But also
clever.
The movie is... Makes you think. Another one is, conceived in terror, born in fear.
And then just pray for Rosemary's Baby.
It's my least favorite of the bunch.
Pray for it.
Pray for it. Robert Evans was the one who was the head of Paramount during the time of this movie's production, and he actually wanted specifically Roman Polanski to be the director for this. He admired his directing and his filmmaking, but at the time, Roman Polanski had not made a U.S. film yet.
Is he, Robert Evans, is he the strange man from the documentary we watched where we couldn't understand him?
I don't know.
That must have been him, right?
I don't know. The really plastic surgery guy?
Yeah. I don't think they said his name except maybe at the very beginning. But he was wearing that, like, silk shirt and a bunch of rings and mumbling so much.
Yes.
That is him,
That is him.
All right.
He's... Oh, wow, he died 2 years ago.
Oh, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
But he just, like, he was all about his look in that documentary, which was hilarious. I just couldn't understand him, which was annoying.
That way his entire life.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, so he really wanted to get Roman Polanski on this movie, so he actually, like, he knew Polanski was big into, like, skiing and racing, and he put a script called Downhill Racer, which was going to be a skiing movie, and he put that on top of Rosemary's Baby, and he said, I'm going to give you a couple scripts. Look at these. But he didn't care about Downhill Racer at all.
It was just like, what's like the bait and switch?
But apparently Polanski read the script in like a day or two. He read the entire thing and was immediately on board.
It was the book of Rosemary's Baby, not the script. Because he writes the script, Polanski does.
Yeah, it actually wasn't the script. It was, they said galleys?
I know it is a book, though. I think that's what...
Rosemary's Baby is a book, yeah. So he gave Polanski some ideas they had and the book. And apparently he took the book and he finished the first version of the screenplay in 3 weeks.
Which is insane.
Yeah, apparently because it was also like 270 pages.
Which is insane.
Which is way too long. That? Yeah, so then they obviously had to cut it down.
Because, this already is a really long movie. In that one interview we saw with Polanski, he, like, struggled. It took him longer to cut the script down than to write it, is what he said.
Yeah.
Because he wanted it to be so true to the book.
Yeah, and even with the cut-down script, the original cut of the movie was 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then they cut it down to 220. And apparently, Polanski, he left the room for the final edit. He said he said he didn't know what to leave in. He's like, this is my movie. Yeah. You have to do it.
That's very funny. I just can't imagine just being like, I literally don't want to lose any of this, so I can't be a part of it. Does that full version exist anywhere? Probably not.
Probably not. Nowadays it would.
Right.
That editor's name was Sam Osteen, and he actually went on to direct a sequel.
Yeah, this looks like garbage. I want to watch it just for the LOLs, but...
It's called Look What's Happened to Rosemary's
We'll post a picture
Baby.
of the cover of this, because it is just like a boy with a white face.
It's very strange looking.
And this came out in like 1976. Yeah, so... Yeah, not great.
No, it looks...
And other than the editor, no one else from the original was involved. Right? No Mia Farrow, obviously.
No, definitely not. I don't think anybody...
the guy that played Guy.
No, it's all new actors. Like some of the characters are the same. Like it's supposed to be Guy and the character Roman Castevet. But no, it's all new. Random people I've never heard of.
Yeah.
One of the things I found that was kind of funny was that Polanski apparently didn't know that people, when they turn books into movies, change things. And so he didn't.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know that was a thing. So that's why it's so true to the book. And most of the dialogue is word for word from the book.
Right.
But, yeah, he said, I literally didn't know I could do that.
I guess, like, back then there wouldn't be too many of those, right?
No, there were a ton.
Okay.
But he was like, wow. This movie is executive produced by William Castle, and I don't know if you know that name off the top of your head, but he was originally he was the one who acquired the rights to make this movie, and he wanted to direct it, but Evans said, if you want to be the executive producer, sure, but if you direct it, no. And he was super pissed about it, but as I said earlier, Evans really wanted Polanski. But he said Castle couldn't do it because his other projects were so low budget. He wanted somebody who knew higher budget stuff. But Castle is the director for the original House on Haunted Hill, 13 Ghosts, some movie called Homicidal, The Tingler. That's the...
I want to watch that still.
The Tingler?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's amazing. With Vincent Price.
Mm-hmm. I know what it is. I've just never seen it.
It's so great. The Old Dark House. How to Plan a Movie Murder. But he's actually a very well-known horror director, and he actually makes an appearance in it. So he's the guy outside the phone booth that just stands there.
Oh, okay, and like waves to her.
But there's just so much weird stuff with this movie and him. So originally William Castle wanted to display the baby at the end. You know, when they look into the cradle.
Like show the whole baby?
to it? What have you done to its eyes?
He has his father's eyes.
What are you talking about? Guy's eyes are normal. What have you done to him, you maniac?
Satan is his father, not Guy. He came up from hell and begat a son of mortal woman.
It's better that they don't.
Yeah. And then the last thing about Castle is that he was 100% convinced that this movie cursed him.
Why? That's weird.
So he thought that the Sharon Tate murders happened because of this.
Explain. How is that connected?
Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate are connected.
Well, like they dated or what?
They were married.
At the time that she got murdered?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski were married the time they were murdered. Well, she was murdered.
Well, so she was pregnant with his baby?
Uh-huh.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. I think
Yeah.
I did know that somewhere in my brain, but...
Yeah. So he believes that because Roman Polanski made this movie, that what happened to Sharon Tate was the
Very
result.
weird.
Also, apparently he blames a UTI and various other maladies and illnesses he suffered.
This fucking UTI. It's all because of Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, but apparently he actually became a recluse for many years after making this.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, that's weird. But yeah, so some people say this movie is a cursed film because Sharon Tate was... Did I say... Wait, Sharon Tate? That's her name? No.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, a lot of names in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But some people say it's cursed because she was killed, I think, less than a year later of this movie's release.
I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
Like, and because she was pregnant? Like, does okay, weird.
That's what... So, he made a movie about
I
a
want to know more.
demon baby.
I haven't heard anything about this before.
Oh. Well, I'm so happy.
But I guess I also don't care. I've never really had that much of an interest in, like, Charles Manson. Like, I know stuff about him, but...
Well, yeah, it's...
Like, the Manson murders and stuff. I don't know, like...
He wasn't there.
All the
so,
details of...
Yeah. It's much less interesting than you would think.
Yeah, because people are obsessed with it.
But he wasn't even there. So Mia Farrow herself actually does the vocals in the title sequence.
I think you can tell. She
I
has,
think
like,
so.
a pretty distinct voice.
It's very creepy.
It's
kinda.
creepy, but, like,
Yeah.
what a cool opening. It's like her singing to the future demon baby, you know?
I'll make that the opening to the episode.
Yeah, do it.
But according to Mia Farrow, Polanski's directing style was tough at times. So the scene where she runs into traffic, that was real traffic.
Yeah.
And Roman Polanski had to do the camera work himself because he couldn't find a cameraman who would do it.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, I also wouldn't run into traffic. And he said...
In New York, because it was filmed in New York, right?
Yes, that was actually shot in New York City. That is
Yeah.
real New York City traffic.
But yeah, that's insane.
But he said, don't worry, nobody will hit a pregnant woman.
Unless they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
No one is intentionally usually trying to hit anyone.
Another weird thing he did was, so, you know, there's the scene where Rosemary is calling the, what's his name? Donald...
Hutch.
Donald Baumgart, the actor who went blind.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that part.
Yes. So, she calls him...
Because that's when Guy got the part.
Yeah. So she calls him, and Roman Polanski didn't tell her who was going to be answering the phone. So when she looks all confused, it's because
she doesn't recognize the voice.
She is... Yeah, like, when the person answers, she's like, who am I actually talking to?
Yeah.
Which
That makes
is
sense.
cool. It's weird.
They do a lot of stuff like that for, like, phone calls in movies, you know? Mm-hmm. Because it's really easy to get, like, a genuine reaction just by doing something that simple.
Yeah. Another weird thing, well, kind of weird, especially weird for back in the day where they're shooting on film, but a lot of these scenes are, like, one shot. There's no cutting.
You notice
There's
that a lot, especially in the building, like in the hallways. Like whenever they're walking in and out, it never cuts.
And almost like every phone call, when she's in the phone booth, or they're always like 2 or 3 minutes of straight talking.
Yeah.
Which is good and bad because it helps build suspense, but it's also adding to that this movie's almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's long.
It's long, but yeah. So I have there's the first tour of the apartment, the laundry room scene, the scene where they're talking about having a baby at the New Year's Eve party, their argument after a party, the call about Hutch, the scene at Dr. Saperstein's office. Yeah, these are all, and then the phone booth scene. These are all just like 2 or 3 minutes long. I can only imagine how many times they had to do it.
That'd be rough.
The scene where Rosemary is eating that raw meat, it actually is real raw meat.
Gross.
Yeah.
It looks real. It couldn't have been something else.
It is. But that's actually a scene that kind of unfortunately got cut out. Is they that's supposed to be one of the hints of something satanic or otherworldly, is because apparently chicken liver, or liver in general, but specifically chicken liver, is used in a lot of occult rituals. And the book actually explained that a little bit.
Yeah, in this she just like grabs it and throws it in a pan for 30 seconds.
Yeah, and in the book, it's like, I think it's like in the book while they're talking, while she's doing that, it's like explaining. So I thought that was a little interesting tidbit. And they go on to talk like it's specifically used in like a lot of voodoo and stuff.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Fun fact of the movie is like the baby's due date of June 1966.
Of course.
During the entire production of this movie, she was also going through a divorce.
Yeah, this sounds rough. And even like interviews with her, like she, like, of course it was like the 60s, and her husband, of course she believed him like over anything.
Also, it's not just her husband, it's also Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Which
Very
is
weird.
weird. But he, when Mia Farrow told him about the role, he was like, I don't see you in it.
Yeah, and he was literally like, she had him read the script before she like officially took it, and he was like, you're not doing these nude scenes, like you can't, I don't see you doing this. And like it like completely shook her confidence, especially because they like sought her out because of whatever TV show she was on at that time. They really loved her. And
Roman Polanski specifically wanted her for the role.
And when she auditioned, she like nailed it. So she was like riding riding that cloud, and then her husband's like, you can't do this.
And apparently, I mean, there's no, like, Frank Sinatra never said this, like, to the public, but Mia Farrow says that that partially, or one of the main reasons of their divorce was because of her taking this role, and he was trying to act at the time, but, like, not competition complex, but he saw her as the better actor, and he was jealous. And one of the things that happened was...
like toxic masculinity.
Yes. But they were so sure this movie was gonna, like, do well in the Oscars that they said, like, Polanski even was like, yeah, you're probably gonna win an Oscar for this. And they think Frank Sinatra snubbed, like, used his connections to make sure that didn't happen.
She didn't win an Oscar?
No,
Oh, okay.
She was completely snubbed. She wasn't even nominated.
I did know that, actually.
And that's why people think, like, Sinatra never said it.
Yeah, but that he did it.
Yeah, but everybody was like, how did she not even get a nomination?
Yeah.
As we mentioned earlier, her going into the traffic was actually, like, New York traffic. So all of the sidewalk shots, all of the outdoor stuff was actually shot first in New York City before they moved back to the Paramount Studios soundstage in Hollywood.
Which I did not realize this was a soundstage.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
I guess it makes sense. Because, like,
huge.
what's the thing, like, you can tell because there's no ceiling?
That's usually the dead giveaway, is that it won't have a ceiling.
Because I literally...
Or it will only have a couple shots where you can even see the ceiling.
I've seen this movie like probably 10 times, and I had no idea. I really thought that this was like a bougie apartment in downtown New York.
Yeah, and like Hereditary feels the same way, but that is 100% fake.
Yeah.
But with this movie, it was just a giant
That's crazy.
set, because their apartment is so big.
And then they go into the neighbor's apartment too, that's connected through the closet, so it must have been gigantic.
In an interview we watched with Mia Farrow, she was actually talking about how it was so big and they would walk so far in a shot that she was having a hard time because she wasn't allowed to wear her glasses.
Yeah. Yeah, she talks about all of the tape directions for her to like go where she was supposed to go, and that she could not see the tape. Which in that interview, she wore the cutest, like, big, like, bottle cap glasses, too.
And then there's also that shot where they're on a yacht in, like, that dream sequence. And they were on an actual yacht in the Santa Catalina Island. I don't know.
I have no idea.
No idea where that is.
Yeah.
I'm assuming near California.
The dream sequences in this movie are really, really effective, though, even now. Like, they're still really spooky. Like when she's on speaking of that one, where she's on the mattress and then it's floating in the water, it like transitions so quickly.
Originally, the budget was supposed to only be $1.9 million, but due to Polanski's very long takes, he would sometimes do 50 takes of a single shot. They ended up falling about 3 to 4 weeks behind in production, which led to them going over budget by $400,000.
Just a casual $500,000.
Real cash.
It is so crazy to think about like making a film like that on film. Like 50 takes on actual film.
It would take so long.
It's insane.
Because, when you were on film, there's no playback.
So you just hope you don't know if it's there, so you do it 50 times.
Did you get the focus? Maybe. We'll know in 2 months when because they have to get developed. Something I didn't notice in the movie, but I thought was like a fun behind-the-scenes fact, that apparently there's Yamaha product placement.
He's in that commercial that they watch on TV.
Is it a Yamaha commercial? Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's just something I didn't.
It's very brief.
Connect.
It's not like important. It's just maybe it's at like a party or something where they're like, "Yeah, this is my commercial," and it's in the background and Guy is in it.
That's funny. I guess I just didn't. I'm like, oh yeah, he's an actor. He's going to be in commercials, but I didn't think that was a real product placement. They gave Roman Polanski and then the guy who plays Guy, his name is John Cassavetes. They gave them free scooters.
That's pretty awesome.
Free Yamaha scooters that they would like race around New York in.
That'd be pretty fun.
And Mia Farrow will ride on the back.
Let's shout out Yamaha. Get some scooters.
Get some scooters. But apparently Roman Polanski had this to say about working with John Cassavetes. And I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong.
I believe it's Cassavete.
Cassavete?
I think.
Okay, either way, Cassavete or Cassavetes. Roman Polanski said this about him. Working with John Cassavete.
John.
Roman Polanski said this about working with John. It was not my best experience. Apparently the two would argue often because Roman Polanski's method of shooting was very strict, very meticulous, because, he's doing 50 takes in a row of a single shot. And John would try to do improv, and Polanski would stop it immediately.
Yeah.
He wanted the same thing every time.
And his dedication to being it exactly like the book does not allow for, like, improv at all.
In a later interview, Polanski said he was a real pain in the ass.
That's funny. Roman Polanski's weird.
He's a strange man.
Yeah. I bet he'd be horrible to work with, honestly. As an actor. Like, that would be rough.
Yeah. But he's just one of those directors that just has the vision, and it's like his way or the highway. This is he's one of those guys that says, this is my movie.
Right.
This is my project. Whereas I don't want to say better directors, but I am going to because they'd be much nicer to work with. Is directors who like build and work with their
Where it's
actors.
collaborative,
More
yeah.
collaborative. That's definitely how I would make a movie. Or when I do work on videos, that's how I tend to shoot. Especially because it's like, I get it, you have a vision, but also you don't know, especially this is where like the whole men writing for women thing comes from. Where
Right.
it's like you don't know everyone's perspective, you know yours.
Yeah.
And it's, an actor, this is what they do for a living. Maybe they know what might sound better.
Right.
In the opening shot, you see the apartment building that Rosemary and Guy are going to look at that apartment. And that is a building, I think the real name is the Dakota. And it is also apparently like a cursed building.
Oh, cool.
It's also like a hot spot for celebrities. Like Boris Karloff would stay there. And Judy Garland would stay there frequently. But it is also the place just outside the building. They said it's like 20 feet where Mia Farrow was standing in that phone booth is where John Lennon was killed.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So they say that is like a cursed, haunted something building.
Not only did we have the first sequel to Rosemary's Baby called What's Happened to Rosemary's Baby, and specifically, which I don't think we mentioned, this was a made-for-TV movie that came out around Halloween.
So you know it's good.
So we have to find it and watch it. And also Ruth Gordon, who played Minnie, was in that as well. But there is additionally a 97 movie that came out called Son of Rosemary.
Which was an NBC miniseries.
Yeah. Oh, it was remade in 2014.
Oh,
so 97, there was this other sequel that then was picked up again in 2014 by NBC.
Even though Rosemary's Baby hasn't been fully remade yet, I'm sure they will. But with movies like False Positive and things like Hereditary or The Killing of a Sacred Deer, you can really see how Rosemary's Baby is still influencing.
What's the connection to The Killing of a Sacred Deer?
Just the whole conspiracy horror.
Oh,
so,
okay, yes.
You
that
know,
makes
in
sense.
Killing of a Sacred Deer, my family is dying, but nobody knows why.
I hated that
And then
movie.
it turns out to be something more sort of supernatural, but kind of vague. I
Yeah.
love that movie.
I hated it.
Hate?
I would never watch it again. It was
Well,
like so
we can
good
disagree.
until the end.
Why?
I hated the ending.
What didn't you like about it?
And there's no resolution, which would be kind of okay, but it wasn't the way this movie did it.
There was a resolution. One of them had to die.
Yeah, but why?
That was the point.
Yeah, didn't like it. Not a fan.
Well, I am.
Moving on.
But anyways, and you can see obviously in things like Hereditary, where it's same vibes.
Right.
Secret Witch Society.
And creating a child that is like born to become a demon.
Demon god and rule
Yeah.
their new society.
And the Omen and all of the other ones that followed.
There are only 2 deaths in this movie, and only one of them is on screen.
Yeah, and that's actually that's pretty graphic. The neighbors have that woman staying with them at their apartment, and she jumps out the window.
And they actually show
Yeah,
her.
they show her whole head being split open.
It's quite graphic.
And then also Hutch, who dies.
He was just trying to help. Cursed him.
Yep.
Is that's what it's supposed to be, or like
Like a
did some-
curse?
yeah,
I
did
think
something-
so. Well, because that's where his glove was missing, so they took something of his.
This is another movie where you have to have an additional add-on, and it's so annoying, but you can watch this movie on Hulu if you have a Showtime thingy. Or you can rent it on YouTube or on Prime.
Yep. For our next episode, we're actually going to just be talking about A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2, since we were lucky enough to go to the movies to see it.
Yes, so that was pretty exciting. So as far as behind the scenes goes, we'll have stuff to share about 1, but it's really, really hard to find behind the scenes, and
For a movie that's new, too. So
that's literally been out for a week.
we're just going to talk about what we think about the two movies. There will be spoilers in this, so
Yes.
if you haven't seen it, we'll kind of try to like warn before we spoil anything. But we're also just going to talk about what it was like going to the movies again,
It was a lot of
because
fun.
it was my birthday and it was great.
Literally took work off to
Yep.
see a matinee.
So that'll
fun.
be next episode, a little
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, I'm thinking we could do like the first half can be more of like talking about Quiet Place 1, and there's a lot of behind the scenes. Talk about oh my gosh, John Krasinski. Mm-hmm. It's very. I never remember his last name.
Yeah.
I'm like Jim.
Yep.
But yeah, it'll be fun to talk about the two, because this movie is so weird for me, where it's like I have so much to talk about
Yeah,
with it.
next time.
We'll get into it next time, and whether we liked one or two more. So that'll be fun. It's our first time. We don't talk about 2021 movies very often, or brand new movies, so it's exciting.
And if you like the podcast, follow us on Instagram at What Happens in the Crypt.
Oh, and rate us if you can. Go to the
Apple.
Apple. You can. I don't know how, but you can do it.
You can rate us on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
You can also contact us through our email, which is whathappensinthecrypt@gmail.com. And we also have a Twitter, which is WHITC_official.
Yep. We got the things.
Yep.
Sometimes we post funny things. Sometimes we post cool behind the scenes things. And sometimes we just post dumb things, but it's kind of funny.
And some days we don't post. So there you go.
That's also true. So we won't destroy your feed. Also because we don't want to.